Welcome back to Gold Stock Trades. Today we have with us a special guest, Jim McKenzie, CEO of Ucore Rare Metals. This week we had a significant new development with the announcement and the permanent addition to the management team of an experienced major league miner. Can you tell us about Ken Collison? What are the key benefits that Ken brings to the operation at Bocan Mountain?
Well, that's a good question, Jeb. In my estimation, Ken is, and I know he wouldn't say this, but I've had many people tell me this off the record, that he's considered to be sort of a minor legend in the space. He's got a great depth of experience as a mine engineer, over 40 years experience, and above and beyond that, his experience is very Alaska-centric. Like, he's done a lot of work in Alaska. He put in a great deal of time with Coeur d'Alene Mines, Coeur, Alaska, as an operations manager up there. Probably his biggest claim to fame was he was one of the founding principals behind Blue Pearl, which was a very successful operation in the moly space, and they eventually got taken out to become Thompson Creek. And he did extremely well financially out of that and otherwise and career-wise. And what we think is truly remarkable about Ken is that he doesn't necessarily have to come into the office on a daily basis based on his past success, but he still does it because he just loves what he does. And he's elected to sign on with Ucore because he loves the concept. He loves where we're located. He knows a great deal about Alaska and how to move a mine ahead in that area. So the bottom line is we've signed on a top-flight mine engineer who's got decades of experience building mines in Alaska and moving them ahead very quickly.
So it seems that Ucore is really making a transition in 2012 to being a mine developer from being an explorer. From your time on being as CEO, can you tell us about the transition that you're seeing right now with the company?
Yeah, well, a really important statistic is, the number of companies that get to the level that we are now in terms of how advanced we are. A rule of thumb that's often kicked around is that less than 1 in 1,000 companies that start off with a grassroots project actually make it through to get into the advanced stages of development. So I think that says a great deal that we've bypassed 999 theoretical companies to get into that sweet spot of the 1 in 1,000 that actually goes into mine development. But in answer to your question, we started out at Bocan in 2006, actually officially 2007, and we put in 3 or 4 really intensive exploration seasons out there. And the thing about exploration is, by definition, it's a matter of throwing darts at a dartboard, and sometimes where you're either half blindfolded or the lights are turned off, sort of thing. And when you initially hit, then it's a matter of rejigging your exploration to try to figure out exactly what you have. And that's what we've done the last 2 years, to the extent that now we've delivered an inferred resource as of last year under NI 43-101 guidelines. And we're upgrading that to an indicated resource as of in the next quarter based on drilling that we did in 2011. So as of the beginning of 2012, the company really is at a turning point. We're essentially evolving from an exploration concern into a mine development concern. And at that point, it's a lot less about throwing spaghetti and seeing what sticks, and it's a lot more about using tried and true methodologies that have been utilized in the mining space for decades to move an enterprise ahead. So the company becomes a lot less risky in a way and becomes a lot more regimented. And so again, that sort of plays into the theme of us hiring or bringing on a guy who is a top-flight mining engineer. Like, he has the discipline and the knowledge and the great depth of experience to move a junior mining operation ahead with minimum delay. So in answer to your question again, it's all about transitioning into mine development from exploration, and we're essentially a junior miner now as opposed to a junior exploration company.
Jim, over 2011, a lot of investors were concerned about the downturn in the equity markets with the euro troubles that we've had. But it seems like in 2012, we're beginning to see a rebound and an interest regaining for the rare earths. And we saw the recent study from the Department of Energy that highlighted the most critical rare earths and supply shortfall risk, and that one it included dysprosium and terbium. Could you comment on what you think? If there's what some were saying is maybe a supply glut for dysprosium, is there any truth to that, or can you comment on what you've seen with the Department of Energy, the rebuttal with the Department of Energy?
Jeb, I think the Department of Energy report, which is actually a follow-up to their initial report in 2010 on critical metal strategy and so forth. The update at the end of 2011 was effectively a follow-up to that and continued along the same themes. But in 2010, that report highlighted two or three metals that were absolutely the most critically threatened and most strategically important to the United States in terms of energy applications. And it obviously goes beyond that into Department of Defense applications and high-tech applications and so forth. But the DOE report zeroes in on energy applications. And in 2010, the single most strategically threatened metal for the United States was dysprosium. And what's interesting in 2011 is that they've updated that to include terbium as well. And so if anybody, avails himself of that report, it's a 200-page report and it's quite in-depth. What I think is remarkable is that the two headline products that we have at Bocan, terbium and dysprosium, or TB and DY, are the two most strategically threatened and, in theory, most valuable metals, strategic metals to the United States right now. So another interesting point that they make in the DOE report is they talk about near-term supply shortfalls and mid-term supply shortfalls for TB and DY. And obviously, near-term would be over the next year or two. Mid-term would be over the next 5 to 7 years. And the DOE report is pretty uniform on this when it says that both terbium and dysprosium are going to be in strategic shortfall for many, many years to come. They actually go so far as to project outwards to 2020 and 2025 and beyond. And the consensus there is that these metals will be strategically beleaguered for the next 10, 15, 20 years and beyond. So it's just really, really good news for us because obviously we have the largest NI 43-101 compliant resource of these metals in the U.S. So in summary, in answer to your question, I couldn't disagree more with pundits that are saying that there might be a glut or a supply surplus for these metals when you have some of the most advanced think tanks in the world, such as the DOE report and even the PwC report that came out the other day that essentially says no, dysprosium and terbium are not only are they strategically vital, they're going to be in supply shortfall for a long, long time to come.
Well,